Hello, friends. Welcome back to Stylist Soul Tribe Conversations. I am joined today by my dear friend Anna. Anna has been on the podcast before, Anna Durej. She came on a while back to talk about her big magic called translating the label. Anna's passionate about the cosmetic chemistry side of the industry, and she's been on the podcast before because of that. Anna has been working behind the scenes with me for, I didn't realize how long it's been. She brought
While.
this up to me a couple weeks ago on our team meeting. She was like, "Do you think we should formally introduce and announce the work that I do for you?" And when I asked her today before we started recording, I was like, "How long has it been?" And she was like, "I think it's been a year and a half now because I've gotten a full 1099. Like it's been over a full year of pay period." And I'm like, "Yeah, we should definitely talk about this." So Anna, I guess do a quick little hello intro. How are you? Because time really just flies by. And I think we have talked about this a lot on my podcast. Sometimes you're so close to your business, you don't see the broader perspective. Hello. Thanks for coming on
Yeah,
the podcast
thanks.
today.
So I'm Anna, for those of you that don't know me, and I am an OG Stylist Soul Tribe member. So I've
From
been with
day
Lisa
one.
from the very beginning. My business has grown and changed, and my life has changed so
Yeah.
much since I've known Lisa. It's kind of wild. I started
Yeah.
out as a booth rental stylist, working behind the chair. And, like when you know that there's something else you want to do, but you don't know what it is yet, I
Yeah.
kind of found that through being in Soul Tribe a while, like 3 years ago. My family and I just decided to like upend our whole lives, and we moved across the country. So we
Quite
moved from,
literally. Yeah.
yeah, so we moved from Connecticut to California.
So when it started off, Anna planted a seed a long time ago. Like we said, she's been in Soul Tribe for a long time, and she planted a seed a long time ago, especially when she stopped working behind the chair. Because when she moved, she stopped fully working behind the chair, and now she's very much stay-at-home mom, helps me out, building her big magic, kind of doing a little bit of a lot of things, fair to
Yeah,
say. Yeah,
yeah,
she has a
absolutely.
podcast, she creates content, she does a lot of things, and she planted the seed many, many years ago. Like, hey, if you ever need help behind the scenes, like I have the free time, I would love to help you if there's ever a time that it comes up and it makes sense. And so I guess a year and a half ago, I reached out to her. I was like, hey, there are some small tasks that I really could use. This was when Leisha was working with me at the time, and it was like
Mhm.
she was finding that these were becoming kind of redundant tasks for her. They were definitely redundant tasks for me, and we brought Anna on. And then over, which it's so crazy to me. If you would have asked me, I mean, I guess I know it's been over a year. I would not have thought it's been a year and a half. It is so crazy how time flies.
Yeah,
But over the time that she's been slowly just kind of trickling in behind the scenes, and especially since you guys heard on the last LNL back in February, Leisha has fully evolved out of behind the scenes in Soul Tribe. She's still a member. Anna was there through all of that. She was there when Leisha gave her notice. She was on a lot of those meetings, and we were unsure if the role that Leisha was doing was going to be something that Anna enjoyed doing, wanted to do, was
mhm.
capable of doing, liked doing. I was very unsure, which I think I was very transparent about in that last podcast episode back in February. I've said it a lot behind the scenes to you, Anna, but I'll say it here out loud. I've been blown away by the way that you've stepped in, because even when she talked about stepping back, you're like, I don't know if I want to do all that or if I could do all that, but it has
Yeah,
been amazing. So I think it is fair to say we've never put a name to it, but I think it is fair to call you, I would say these days, my executive assistant. I don't know. And so over the all the time, like when Anna started working behind the scenes, it was just teeny tiny little tasks, like working on Google Calendar, creating Zoom calls, creating
mhm.
links, like very little things. But now over all this time, I will sometimes make a comment of like, oh, Anna, we'll get to that. And then she realized, she's like, some people might not know what you're talking about when you say, because some people are aware and some people are not. So formal, a year and a half later announcement, Anna is still doing what we would call VA work for me, but it
Yeah,
has picked up a lot. And I just want to say how grateful I am through that transition of kind of Leisha coming out. And even just this last like month or so, Anna and I meet every single Wednesday morning, and it has been great just having you to bounce ideas off of. There's a lot of things happening behind the scenes inside of Stylist Soul
yeah,
Tribe right now that Anna now gets like the full picture of. And I am so grateful to have just another person, especially since you've been around since day one, to just kind of get that feedback and perspective from. So, yeah, how would you describe that from your perspective, or even talk about maybe whatever direction you want to go, but the evolution of Soul Tribe way back when to kind of where we are now and where you see the direction is heading from your
okay.
perspective. I would love to hear that.
Okay, so yeah, Style Still Tribe has like grown so much because when you
Yeah.
first started out, it was like DMs and Zoom meets,
Yeah.
right? And
Yeah.
and maybe like a Gmail here and there.
Yeah, isn't that great? No, I don't think I sent any emails. I know I
Mhm.
hated email marketing. I don't think I sent any emails. I think it was all like Facebook messages. And I
Oh yeah,
honestly
that,
think
yeah.
some of the first calls were Facebook Messenger video calls. They weren't even Zoom calls.
Oh shoot. Okay.
I have screenshots from your guys' initial onboarding sessions, and they were on Facebook, like Messenger Live or Facebook Messenger video.
Okay, it all makes sense. So it's been really cool actually, even just seeing the transition when Leisha joined and
Hmm.
everything that she brought to the table. She did so much
For sure.
and she really changed a lot in just the best way.
Evolved a lot.
And then even just trying to follow you guys when I initially started was
Hmm.
sometimes kind of hard to keep up with because I'm like,
Yeah.
what are they even talking about? I got
Yeah.
to really look into that. And just really getting a look at how in depth everything was.
For sure.
Yeah,
I would say they got much more sophisticated after Leisha came on. And then I
absolutely.
realized I've built a machine that kind of needs quite a bit of operations to keep going now at this point.
It was pretty impressive. But even now, like just, looking at everything, I feel like I'm still learning so much about the behind the
Totally.
scenes operations. But Leisha left us pretty well set up with
For sure.
when she left. So that's been really good. And then even just now seeing like what you're working on
Yeah.
and the trajectory of that is kind of it's wild.
And I am still like hesitant. So we'll share some of the behind the scenes happening. It's weird for me because I have so many one-on-one conversations that I sometimes forget what I have said in my head. If you guys only knew the amount of thoughts happening at all times behind these eyes of mine, then to what I've said out loud to a few people, then to like the announcements that have been made to all of SST. And then this is a trip, and Anna has kind of seen it. Even when I announce things to all of SST, sometimes it takes a long time for everybody to fully hear it and understand it because they
Yeah.
miss an email, they miss an announcement, they're not fully paying attention. So, one thing in particular that we rolled out back in December, and it has been going strong, and Anna has now been really kind of part of the behind the scenes of it, is the board of support. And so, that was, I don't think I've talked about this on a podcast episode, what the board of support is, and I'll try to explain it a little bit here without getting too long winded, especially for those of you that know. But I know some people, even inside of Soul Tribe, still feel unsure of like what this kind of new addition is. Some people get fearful. Some people think it's going to change how Soul Tribe is. Some people think it's me pulling away. It is none of that. But it is a new addition, and it is something
Yeah.
that those that are starting to experience it, I'm very much saying I'm beta testing it, and the feedback that I'm getting is really, really, really good. And so that makes me excited. So I have had this something like this in my mind for many years now. What does this model in this coaching platform that I've created, what is the next layer of it? What is the next level of it? How does it continue to evolve? Because if we're not growing and evolving, we're kind of dying. And I am a human, I am a creative human by nature. I will always be evolving. And I find that my art is my business. I've said that a lot on the podcast. And so I'm constantly thinking of things and brainstorming things. The board of support, without having a name, had been on my mind for a while. There was somebody named Larry in Soul Tribe, which we'll talk about more here in a little bit. She reached out to me, and she's a powerhouse. She owns a very successful salon, and she just basically said, like, I'd love to help you. Like, I don't really need the accountability in the way that Soul Tribe is set up, but like, I love being part of this community. I love giving back. I do this a lot in my local life and in town where I sit on a board of directors. I help people kind of come up with new systems and grow and evolve, and then step down and move away or move on from that. Fascinating. Okay, tell me more of what you mean. And after a few questions back and forth from Larry, it was one night, it was literally like 1 a.m. and I couldn't fall asleep because my brain was kind of spinning on it. And I remember this idea kind of dropped in, and I was talking with ChatGPT because now that's how big ideas like a seed of it comes in and you kind of get clarity with the
Oh yeah.
robots. And I just got like immense clarity that night. And I remember, I don't think you were on that call, Anna, but I shared it all with Leisha. And I was just like, blah, 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 blah. And she was like, okay, like this makes sense. And she was like, so like, what are we waiting for? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I just got the idea 8 hours ago. Like, I don't know how to bring it to life. I announced it back in December, and I was intentionally very vague about what it was because it's a test, it's a exploration. And if everybody hates it, I'll dissolve it and we won't keep it going. What I see is people who have been in Soul Tribe for a while, who have started to become this hub or this resource where a lot of people in Soul Tribe know this person's so giving with their knowledge. They've seen a lot of success. They're happy to share it with others. Why not kind of elevate those people and not have them have to have all these one-offs conversations on Marco Polo and just kind of give them a little bit of a platform. The very first round of board of support was the contracts ran from January to June, so we're in it right now. And it was Larry, Samantha, and Krissa. And it's been going really well. And like I said, I've been getting really good feedback. We are bringing two more members on for the second half of 2025. I'm not going to share who they are yet, but Soul Tribe members, that information will be coming soon. Basically, what the board of support is kind of what I described, but it also, along with that, it does support me a little bit. So it supports the members and it supports the community, but there is a layer of that that intentionally supports me. I am on roughly 20 calls a month right now, all the Soul Tribe calls, and for a lot of reasons. One, that's quite a bit, obviously, on my calendar, especially if I want to continue to make more of an impact and help more people. But two, I don't think I have all the answers to everything. Like, I get on Soul Tribe calls, and there comes a point, like, Anne, I'm curious your take on this because we've known each other for so long now, going on 7 years, which is crazy. That's like a
Wow.
long-term relationship. I would have to assume there gets a point where you're like, well, I'm going to bring it up in my call, but like, I know what Lisa's going to say, right? Like, there has to come a point where you kind of start to feel that way.
You kind of get like you do like a little bit,
You
I
know how
think
my
I know
brain
how it's
works.
gonna go.
Yeah.
And then, when like Leisha was subbing for you, I always like really enjoyed that because it was like she would come in and give a totally
Fresh
perspective.
perspective.
And sometimes you're like, whoa, you know, I never even thought to look at that. And, you know, like you said, you're just one person. So having the board of support is, I remember when you guys were telling me about that, I was like, oh my God, this is exactly what, first of all,
Yeah.
Lisa's schedule needs because I'm used to scheduling things, but
Mhm.
also like, this is such a good way every once in a while get that
Fresh
other
perspective.
perspective on
Hmm.
the problem that is just kind of you've gotten advice on and then you've tried it and pivoted and then you're like, it's still not quite there, right?
Yeah.
So that's what that extra person really comes in and helps with, which
Love.
is
I
wonderful.
totally agree. And my fear was, how do I take this, web of thoughts in my brain and properly communicate it and get other people to see it? And I do feel like now the people who I am able to fully get their attention, fully explain it to, as soon as they fully get it, they're like, whoa, yeah, this is really cool. Like, this is
Mhm.
really great. This is really helpful. And as I've grown Stylist Soul Tribe for all these years, I have my methodologies, I have the cycle of success, I have things that I teach to, but my calling has always been creating connections. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm the greatest teacher. I don't think I'm the greatest coach. I definitely have never owned a salon before. I've had my own experience and I've learned a lot from it. And I love just like helping people and guiding people. But I, in no way, shape, or form, have all the answers. And I have from day one wanted to create a mastermind. And I do think that board of support really doubles down on the mastermind side of it. I know a
Mhm.
lot of people find me and, connect with me and I become their friend and their coach. But the mastermind side of it really is, how can I just create a space for all of these brains and these minds to most efficiently work together? And I really do think that the board of support is like such the next right step answer to that.
100%. Because, like, even like we were talking about earlier, sometimes or not sometimes, this happens like pretty
Hmm.
much every call. When
Yeah.
I'm like in a call with my tribe, so maybe two members will be going back and forth, or you'll be going back and forth with another
Yep.
member. And the conversation isn't anything that I have, any input or anything to give on. But
Yeah.
sometimes I'm even sitting there taking notes because I'm like, oh, actually, I could use that too, right?
You just kind of learn and grow through osmosis of just being a
Yeah.
witness to these powerful
Yes.
conversations and watching so many business owners operate and come every month with their issues, troubles, bottlenecks, wins. You just learn through, watching that. And I do think that is such a cool part of Soul Tribe. And I do think that's what the feedback that we're starting to get from Board of Support members. While they're here to give support, they realize what a cool role this is. One, I get to connect with so many more people that, I just didn't really have the opportunity to connect with before. But they realize that they learn so much on those calls, even though they're the one facilitating them and guiding them. And so when that idea dropped in, and again, going back to Larry being the one bringing it up, and her not saying, like, I need more support, her saying, like, I have so much to give, and I love this community so much. I'd love to spend some time and energy giving back to it. And I'm like, that is a piece that hasn't existed here. People like Larry, Samantha, Carissa, more people who have already agreed to be on board of support in the future, and so many more people that I think should. I think eventually, honestly, I don't see why every member can't at some point be on the board of support. It is that the whole thought with the mastermind, and it started back with master classes way back when, how many
Yep.
years ago? If you can just take 30 minutes of your time to give to this entity, this community, if each of us can do that, and then everyone does that, do you know how much we all receive back from that being the give and take here?
So much.
Yeah.
And
But
also too, like another thing that happens is just during the calls, like you were saying, you learn so much. And maybe it's not like somebody's talking about an issue that's an issue to them right now. And it's not an issue for you and it's never has been. But then 9 months later,
you're
you have
dealing
this
with
issue.
something similar.
Now you know exactly how to handle it because you've been listening to, like, I don't know, Amanda troubleshoot
Yeah.
it for like 2 months,
Or
right?
you
And
at
you're
least
like,
have someone to tap into. I know so
yeah,
and so dealt with this. I'm going to reach out to them. Yeah.
exactly.
I've always felt
Really
like,
great.
and I've said this since the beginning, every time you read a personal growth book or you take courses about how to do any of the things I'm
Mhm.
doing, it's like, what is your superpower? What's your zone of genius? Like, where do you really shine? And I've always felt like I am a super connector. I don't know why. That has just felt natural to me. I talk about my friendships with the Fab Five from my whole entire life. Like I've always just brought people together and connected people. That's always been very natural to me. And so I think after all these years of hosting Soul Tribe through the podcast and connecting with all these different people, the network that you build, but even just like mentally, like you're saying, the resources. I'm so much smarter just because of all the conversations I've got to have with everybody in Soul Tribe, even though I'm the one coaching them. So, yeah, again, it really is just expanding the mastermind model. And then with the board of support, I'm asking people to help lead calls, be inside of Marco Polo groups to give fresh perspective. But I'm also asking every member of the board of support to create a personal creative initiative. And when they hear that, they get really nervous. You heard the couple people that
Yep.
get nervous. They're like, oh God, what am I supposed to do for that? I am very intentionally not labeling it. I'm not calling it a masterclass. I'm not calling it a challenge. I'm not calling it one on one because I want it to be a petri dish, a breeding ground for your creativity, whatever it means. Because through all these years of doing Soul Tribe, I'll get these Marco Polos from all these members who just love this community and love this. And they're like, oh my God, Soul Tribe should have this. Or Lisa, I had a dream last night that Soul Tribe did this. Or you should really think about creating this. And my Enneagram 7 brain is like, yep, 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 yep. We should do all the things. But then I learned at a certain point, like, I don't have the capacity to bring anything more, but I would love to create the space for other people to do that. And so each member has been doing creative initiatives. Carissa's was the first one. It was, I think, 8 people participated. So it was a small, intimate group. A lot of people missed the announcement, truthfully. But the 8 people who got it, who were inside that Marco Polo group, Chris talked about habits and morning routines and choosing daily needle movers, personal and professional. What is one thing you do every day? It was such a fun one off Marco Polo conversation for a month. I loved having that. And then the last 2 months, Samantha has been doing her creative initiative, and it was very different from Chris's. Chris's was kind of like a
Yeah.
challenge with a Marco Polo group with a video and a PDF downloadable. Samantha was like, I don't know what to make for that. Like, that makes me uncomfortable. And so we doubled down on Samantha's strengths. And to you, if you don't, she's never been on the podcast. We need to have Samantha on the podcast.
We do.
She is such a unique, lovely. I mean, she has become one of my favorite humans on this earth. But when I first met her, I mean, Samantha is an interesting person. The way she speaks, the way she shows up in a room, like
Mhm.
sometimes in the beginning you don't know how to read her, but then once you crack into her and you understand the magic and the love that is the human of Samantha Miller. She's gonna hate listening back to this.
She is.
She is so fucking special and powerful, and she's been to the last 3 retreats and like being with her in person and watching her in hot seats and watching the connections and friendships that she's made through Soul Tribe and how much she's impacted people's lives is so cool for me to
And
see. So we said to her, we're like, what if we just do like sessions with Sam, we'll call it. You're so good at just like, she just makes friends, but then she really helps these people. And to her, it seems like, well, how the fuck is that a creative initiative? That's just me, reaching out to my friends. But it is so powerful and it's impacted a lot of people's lives. She did sessions with Samantha. We had people fill out a form and explain, like, yeah, I could use some one-on-one support. Samantha's just kind of run with it. There's been 8 people as well that participated in that. Anna is one of them. So, as a
Yeah.
consumer, as a member of Soul Tribe, Anna applied for a session with Samantha and she's been getting that. So I would love to hear. I know you told me a little bit just personally what's going on. What has that been from your perspective? We're going to do it again, but I just think it's fascinating to highlight and explain a little bit more in depth what these creative initiatives have been thus far.
Yeah. So Samantha is, there's something about her that
Yeah.
is, I don't really know how to describe it, but like you just feel she has a way of just making you feel like loved, seen, and heard.
Hmm.
Right. And but there's like even more to it than that, but I
Yeah,
can't
like
really
that you
put it into
can't
words.
even put into words. Yeah.
Right. But anyway, so she shows up and she's like, well, tell me, how can I support you? What are
Mhm.
you working on? What are you struggling on? Where are areas of improvement? But then she'll also like, when you're working through something with her, she's like, hey, what if you look at it like this? And you're
Mm.
just like, I never once
Yeah.
would have
Have to look
ever
at it
thought
like that.
to
Hmm.
look at it in that direction. I don't think anybody else would have given me that advice
Yeah.
either.
Alicia also took advantage of sessions with Samantha, and I was
Mhm.
Marco Poloing with her. I hope she doesn't mind me sharing this. I don't think she would. But I was Marco Poloing with her yesterday, asking her as well, just out of curiosity, how's it going? And she said what's been big for her is she realizes, and I think I do this too, and I think for how long we were connected, we almost kind of picked it up from each other a little bit. Saying a lot of, I don't know, using the term I don't know instead of
Mhm.
here is how I'm feeling. And when I
Yeah,
say that, you might realize, Anna, that I
yes,
do that Leisha does that. Because once she said it, I was like, yeah, you do say that, but I do too. So, and Samantha, Leisha said Samantha is making her stop and saying, like, what is beneath that? What do you mean when you say, I don't know?
yeah,
Unpack.
she's really good at that.
Yes. And it's Samantha's done so much like personal work that I think
Yeah,
she's picked up these skills over time, but she's also not going to like throw this in your face. If you don't give her the opportunity to ask it, she's not out to, inject her thoughts or opinions. But if you
yeah.
let her in and let her observe you and give her take on you, it's so fascinating. So that's been sessions with Samantha. It's going to go on for another couple weeks because the creative initiative took place in March and April. And like I said, I'm pretty uninvolved, but Samantha's just Marco Poloing with a lot of different people, holding them accountable, checking in,
Yeah.
observing them, giving her feedback, giving a new set of eyes, giving a fresh perspective. I do think Samantha agreed to do another round of board of support for the second half of 2025. I do think that might be something we keep around, even though it's a creative initiative. I don't know if it's going to be like a one-on-one coaching call or a package or something. I am very curious about keeping that around. So we're going to keep brainstorming on that. But that is Samantha's creative initiative. And then we're about to go into May. And Laurie, the person who initially kind of helped me come up with this idea of the board of support, and she intentionally said, let me be later in this contract because
Hmm.
she knew what she was going to create was going to be very beefy and it was going to take a lot of
Yeah.
time. You saw the workbook.
Yeah, because she gave a sneak peek to it the other day.
Laurie
And
is giving a whole course to all of SS
yeah,
for
she's
free.
like, and then we're all like, our jaws just like hit the floor because we're like, you didn't say it was going to be like this.
Yeah,
Like, this
it's
is
really good. So she's
incredible.
calling it the balanced chair. What Laurie has become known for inside of this community is she knows her numbers, she
Yep.
knows her data, she is organized as fuck, she goal sets like crazy. She's a budgeting queen. She loves like a savings challenge. She's just an interesting human too. And Soul Tribe allows us to just get to know these cool, interesting humans. And she found herself on all of these Marco Polos, talking to salon owners, talking to stylists, giving back inside of Soul Tribe. And just, she's like, I try to give these messages to and from my drive to work, but like, I'm not fully giving people the scope of like what they need. So she's calling it the balance chair. It's going to be an 8 week crash course, and I would just almost call it financial literacy. Like that's what I
Yeah.
mean, it's budgeting, it's accounting, it's tracking your expenses, it's goal setting, there's some mindset, there's some
Mhm.
like abundance thinking woven in.
She did
Process.
a really good job of like I mean, I only looked at it in a glance when
Yeah.
she was quickly scrolling. She really like weaved that in there, like just so.
Super balanced, very Soul
Yeah.
Tribe-esque. You know, there's the
Yeah.
business side, but then there's kind of like the light, feminine, energetic side. And I was kind of surprised to see that because I don't always get to see that side of Larry, but I know you can't
Mhm.
be as successful as she is without nurturing that side. So I know she does it. So it was really cool to see that. So that's going to take place in May and in June. And I was saying on the last board of support call, I know all of this has been vague, quiet. People have been a little bit confused. How the hell do I make sure everybody in Soul Tribe knows that this is happening? Because it's so beefy and so juicy. So we were like, we're going to talk about it on a podcast. We're going to send emails. We're going to make a Instagram post about it. So we just wanted to say it here. Soul Tribe members, pay attention. The first Monday of May, it's starting. It's not live, it's all pre recorded.
Mhm.
A video module is going to drop into the portal from Larry, which will go along with the workbook. It's like a 36-page workbook. It's really beefy. And then every single Monday for 8 weeks, a new video training is going to drop. And then there will also be a Marco Polo group where we just like
Yeah.
ask all the questions, have all the conversations, talk all things money. And Larry will be in there. Obviously, I'll be in there. We'll all be in there to have that conversation. So I'm so excited.
I think everybody will get something out of it. Like I know that Larry's a salon owner, but I
Yeah.
really think that everyone could get something out of it.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And she wanted to make it that way intentionally. So, and it's going to live on forever. So, like, if you're not fully paying attention to it the moment it drops, you can go back and watch the replays. And for future people, if you're listening to this and you're like, I'm not in Stylist Soul Tribe, I don't know what the hell you guys are talking about, it will live on. If you ever join the program, you will have the ability to watch the
Yep.
replay. Potential new board of support members and potential new creative initiatives. I'm
Mhm.
just feeling very in alignment creatively right now and incredibly grateful for the amount of people who believe in my big magic ideas every fucking time I have them, rally around and support me and give their all into this so that my vision and what I see can actually be as good as I see it. So I just want to say that out loud as well, that I'm grateful as fuck. So yeah, that was
Yeah.
kind of creative initiatives. Anything else you wanted to add when it came to board of support creative initiatives, Anna, or is
Oh,
that kind of everything?
I think you covered it all.
Cool,
I
cool.
mean,
All right, so we were talking, Anna and I, because we've not done a podcast like this. I don't know what I'm going to call it, LNA chit chat maybe. And we're going to follow the same quarterly report that Leisha and I had been doing because it is just fun. It's silly. So this is from an old TikTok trend. REPORT stands for different things, and it just makes you talk about random like lifestyle things. And I
yeah.
always get feedback in Marco Polos after these podcast episodes about people eating the cottage cheese eggs that I eat, or just like the most random things. So I will do my report for first, and then Anna, you can do yours. So R stands for reading. I'm reading a new book. Last time I was reading Ina Garden's memoir. This is another memoir. The title is awful. First, it's called I'm Glad My Mom Died by Jeanette McCurdy. So Jeanette McCurdy she was Sam on iCarly. She was from Sam and Cat. She's like a Nickelodeon child star. And turns out she had a really interesting, traumatic upbringing, like most of these child stars do. And I'm not super deep into it, but I heard it was really good. And I bought it, and that's what I've been reading. So that's R. Are you doing R? Let's flip flop
Oh,
them.
no. Okay. So I'm reading one book for fun and then another book for, just for personal growth.
Yeah,
So I'm reading The Courage to be Disliked.
love. Who's
Uh,
that by? Do you know?
oh, shoot. I'd
It's
have to
okay if you
look
don't
real
know.
quick.
That's fine. We can plug it in the
We'll put
chat
it in
or
the
in the
show
show
notes.
notes. Yeah.
But it's really given me like a different perspective on just like how you approach being disliked. And it's
Yeah.
very,
Interesting.
and then for fun, I started the Bridgerton series like a while
Okay.
ago and I'm still plugging through that.
Okay, I know Riley watched the show. Is there a TV show and books?
Yeah, so it's based
Okay,
off of the book series. So I watched
amazing.
the first season, I liked it. So then I started reading the books. There's a lot of them.
Okay. All right, and is it like sucking you in, or you're kind of like meh right now?
You know what? It was, and then, but now I'm just kind of,
I go like that. I go like that with reading too. And you could get sucked back in, you could not. We'll see what
yeah, there
happens.
was like
Yeah.
one book that I read, not the one I'm on now, but the one before. I read it in like less than a week. And now
Yeah.
this one I've been
It's a little
stretching.
slower. I have been eating Dates, you peel them open, you take the pit out. A lot of people put peanut butter. I'm not huge on peanut butter. I can have them. I'm allergic to some nuts. I can have peanut butter. But I saw a TikTok where someone put butter, and I fucking love butter. So salted but dates, a little nub of salted butter in dark chocolate chunks. And it's like
Ooh.
a kind of healthy, not really healthy, but it's all like whole foods. I'm using like real butter snack, and it kind of tastes like a Snickers a little bit, especially if you put peanut butter. And I can't stop eating those. I just had one in between our call because they're so good.
Oh, shoot.
Yeah.
That does
Yeah.
sound really
Are
good.
you a fan of dates or not really?
I
Yeah,
like
they're
all
really
things.
good. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right, what are you eating?
Okay, so you know what? Usually I get like really stuck on a food and I eat it for
Yep.
a long time, but
Hyperfixation.
I'm not in one of those fixation cycles
Okay.
right now.
Uh,
But what we have been obsessed with is we found there's this to go restaurant by us called
okay.
Local Kitchens,
Okay.
and they take like four different like local, I don't know if it's like restaurants or food trucks or whatever, but they
Okay.
all operate out of this one location.
Cool.
So you can go in there and you can order off of
And get a little
all of
bit of
the menus.
everything. A
Yeah.
smorgasbord. I love it.
So it's like I think they rotate the restaurants too.
That's
So
cool.
and
As an
we
Enneagram 7 who likes variety, that is very much speaking my language. Yeah.
yes, and
Amazing.
we love to try different foods. So
Love.
that's been amazing.
Awesome. All right. P for me is play. And I put the trampoline. My kids got a trampoline for Christmas. We finally set it up. And I'm such an obnoxious mom. I can't help it. If you guys don't know, I did competitive cheer like my entire life. I tumbled a lot when I was young. I'm a little nervous to like tumble on grass now. I will if I go to like a gymnastics gym, still bust out a back handspring every here and there, maybe around off tuck. We'll see. I'm 32 now, so I just try to keep it going. But when you get me on a trampoline, I can't stop. Every time my kids' friends are over, Penny's mom can do a backflip. You want to see? I am like, watch what I can do. Watch my routine. So I'm out on the trampoline. My neighbors probably think I'm crazy, but I think if you don't use it, you lose it. And I am determined to keep a backflip at least on the trampoline until I'm like 80 years old. I am not going to stop doing it so that I don't lose it. So that's been my play is jumping on the trampoline with my kids.
I love it, and I think you should keep going with that for
I'm
sure. Because
going to.
you're right. When you don't, you'll lose it if you don't.
Yep. Yep. What's your
Okay,
play?
so my play, it was skiing, but I think this weekend is the last weekend the resorts are open.
Mm. I want to say you really, I think, what from my perspective, milked it. You got a lot out of the
Yeah,
ski season. You've been going a lot.
I got a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
I really did.
we may as well use it.
We paid for it. Yeah, because they made like the just to go up and buy a lift ticket is so ridiculous.
You should do a real quick share on your session with Rain. I would love for you to share that with
Oh,
everyone.
wait.
Just that you took her out and you were afraid
Oh,
that she wasn't going to be open to your feedback, and she was, and she killed
oh
it.
my God. Okay. So anytime that I've taken her like skiing when she was a little bit younger and I
This
tried
is
to teach
Anna's
her,
daughter, who is how
yeah,
old?
that's my daughter. She's 11 now.
Okay.
So anytime I like tried to teach her, you know, how to ski, she wants nothing to do with me.
Yeah,
Absolutely nothing. You know, it's like meltdown city. So I've always paid to like just get her lessons because it's 100% worth it.
totally.
Right. Well, this year we were a little late to the party, and when I went to book her lessons, everything was sold out for the season,
Mm.
like
Yeah.
at every ski resort around us. So she said she wanted to go skiing. So I sat her down and I'm like, hey, look, I can't get you lessons, so I'd have to teach you how to ski. And
Yeah.
she was like, and I'm like, are you going to be okay with that? And she's like, why wouldn't I be okay with that? And I
She's
was like,
finally old enough that she'll
right.
listen.
Also, I should add to this that she hadn't skied in 4 years because of our move and having a and I had a baby.
Yeah.
And the season before we moved was unseasonably warm. There was like no snow. So she
Yeah.
lost like 4 years. So I was bringing her back out again and she, you know, needed lessons. But anyways, so the very first run down that little tiny bunny slope, it was a total shit show. I was
Yeah.
like, oh my God, how am I going to get through today? Then, like, four more runs down, I could see it was all
Picking
coming
it
back
up.
to her.
Love.
By the end of the day, we were skiing at the top of the mountain
Amazing.
and she was doing just fine. And then she turns to me and she goes, Mom, now I'm working on my speed.
Oh, that's so precious. I told Anna I've never been skiing in my life. I've
Yeah.
been water skiing. I grew up boating. I've never been skiing in my life, but also what a sweet day and a sweet memory. I love when I get solo time with Skylar, so our daughters are
Yeah.
very close in age. I love that you guys had that day.
It was so much fun. I did take her again and she had a blast too. Because I was like, oh, since she's got it, I can't let her lose it, you know?
Totally. Yep,
Yeah.
totally. So I love that. So it is sad that the season's coming to an end, but I know she'll pick it up now, especially with how what a busy year she had this year. Love it. I have been obsessed with the show Love on the Spectrum on Netflix. Have you seen it?
No. Oh, okay.
Oh,
Well, I've seen it on there.
you are aware of what it is.
Yeah.
It is so good. So I did not watch season 1 and 2 the last couple of years. I started getting TikToks of like little clips of it, and I could
Mhm.
tell it looked amazing, adorable, precious, hilarious. So good. And I watched all of season 3. I've now started watching seasons 1 and 2 to just like backtrack. It is so good. So it's like kind of a love show, like a dating show, but I wasn't sure. And obviously, it's highlighting people who are on the autism spectrum, but I wasn't sure if it was like, like Love is Blind, where they like set them up. It seems like the production crew sets up some of the dates, but not all of the dates. It's more
Mhm.
so documentary style of these maybe like 6 main people and just their experience being an adult dating on the autism spectrum. It is the cutest, purest. It is
Aw.
so good. The characters are so good. I'm obsessed with Connor. He is so funny. He's so fucking cute. Now he's dating Georgie. They're hilarious. I follow all of them on social media. Love on the Spectrum is so good. If you just want to like sit back and just have like a feel good, adorable, precious show, it's so good. I would say just start with season 3 because it's so good. I could not recommend it enough. It's amazing.
I'm not watching any shows right now because I'm looking for a new one.
Yeah,
So,
you have
yeah.
to watch it. My kids watched it with me too. There's some kind of awkward moments. Like Madison is one of the characters, and she finds this guy that she loves. Tyler, I think is his name. And people on the autism spectrum aren't familiar with social cues. They don't really know. There are
Mhm.
moments where like Madison and her boyfriend were making out in front of Madison's mom, and Tyler's talking to her dad while he's making out with his daughter. And there's little moments where the kids, you could tell, we're like, oh God, why will you turn this off? But all in all, I think it's rated TV 14. It is precious. I
Okay.
think Rain would like it too. It's adorable, and it makes them ask questions. Obviously,
Yeah.
they're familiar. They talk about that at school, but it makes them ask questions and say, why are they doing this? Why? And it just opened up beautiful conversations of just like, that's how some people are. And it's really good at just highlighting the beauty of what makes people different. I've heard like TikToks where they say, like, should people on the spectrum be on these different dating shows? And they said, those people should show up wherever the hell they want and wherever,
Absolutely.
just as every other person, neurotypical person does. And so it even opened up some really cool conversations with my kids too. It was good. Everybody has to
Great.
watch it. It's amazing.
Okay, so one thing I've been obsessing over lately is actually playing. I'm not into board games, but my husband got me into a board game, which is a
Okay, what
major
is it?
achievement for him.
Yeah.
We've been playing Catan.
Oh, love. I've heard a lot of people talk about Catan. We've never gotten into it. Can the kids play or is it a little too complicated? Well, I guess Rain.
Okay, so
I'm sure
they
nobody
have a
can.
Catan Junior, although
Okay.
I hate that. It's nowhere near as good as Catan.
Okay. Okay. So it's
Um,
just you and your husband playing it?
so well, we play it. We also play it with our 11-year-old.
Okay.
When the 2-year-old goes to bed, we'll play it
Okay.
with the 11. But then we also have our good friends that live close by.
Mm-hmm.
Like they have a mother-in-law who has sleepovers
Amazing.
like every weekend. But
Yeah.
Chris and I don't always have that.
Yeah.
So when we don't have a babysitter, they'll come over to our house
Fun.
and we'll have game night and we'll play Catan.
Everyone plays together. Yeah, I've been told that I need to try Catan. I've never played. Love.
It's real good.
Awesome. Okay, so that was your O, right?
Yeah, that was my own.
Awesome. My R recommending. I was a little bit torn on this. I was a little bit stuck on this, but I think what I've been recommending and what I'll say is blow dry brushes
Ooh.
slash I got a Dyson Airwrap dupe. So my client got a Dyson Airwrap. She brought it in. I played with it. I did like it, but I cannot get myself to pay $600 for it. So I found a really cheap one on the TikTok shop and it works pretty well as well. And then my client yesterday and my friend was just telling me about how she's been giving herself blowouts. And I'm just a big fan of like the bouncy blowout look right now. I do
Yeah.
have some curls in my hair, but I'm like kind of sick of curling my hair. I don't really like the way it looks anymore. And I'm very much into like just trying all these different tools that give me more of this like bouncy blowout kind of look. So yeah, that's my recommending. What about you?
I have to say, right before I stopped working behind the chair, I was recommending those to my clients a lot. You have to be careful that you want to make sure your clients get one that have the temperature settings.
I know the Revlon one was burning off a lot of
Yeah.
people for a while. Yeah.
Honestly, so many of my clients have really like it changed the game for blowouts for them. I'm so happy.
Love it.
So,
Because trying to round brush your own hair in one hand and blow dryer in the other is nearly impossible.
especially if you have long hair.
For sure.
Okay. So I just figured out a little bit of a hack for a middle school kid. This is what I've been recommending to people.
Yeah.
So it's more of a mom hack. But my husband and I, we have Samsung phones, and my daughter has an iPad, which is, oh my God.
Yeah, they don't pair well. But I'm just thinking you and Chris need to get rid of the Samsungs. I think that's the only answer is why do
Oh
you guys
man,
still have
listen,
Galaxies?
I think we're in too deep now. I don't think we
Yeah,
could.
I'm gonna bash. I'm an iPhone snob. I'll bash it every chance
It's
I get.
okay.
Keep going.
I totally get it. So anyway, so if someone out there is in the similar situation as us, get a Google Voice phone number for your kid that connects to your email address, and
Love.
then set it up on their iPad so that they can have a phone number. Because we obviously didn't want to buy a plan for her iPad. So now she has a phone number where she can get calls and text messages, and I get an email every single time somebody does one of those things. So
Yeah, I love that you have that. You shared that in one of the Marco Polo groups, and I have a 12-year-old. She does have a phone now with a phone
yeah,
plan, and we use the Bark app, but I paid like $100 a year for it, and that lets me like look at everything she's doing. But I think that's brilliant, and I think getting the email for it. And I know some people disagree with that. Some people think like privacy. I think at 11 and 12 years old, there shouldn't be any privacy when it comes to screens whatsoever. So yeah, I love it.
yeah, just because it's they don't understand
I
everything.
know.
Yeah.
Momming is so hard. I know, but the kids with the screens, that's such an in-depth conversation. But when
It
I
is.
heard you say that, I was like, oh, I love that. And then you can just go back through your emails and just see what is being said on there. I think that's great.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. We haven't gone the phone route yet because stuff gets left everywhere and I don't want to
Yeah.
have to chase down the phone.
Yeah, hasn't earned that responsibility yet. That's totally fair. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it. Love it.
So
Okay, final one is treat. My treat lately, I would say the dates, but I already said that for eating. So my treat lately is I live in a really small town now. So I lived in a small town that I worked out of. I moved to a kind of bigger town, and now we've moved just right outside of this bigger town to a really small like village, it's actually considered. And they just got an ice cream shop, and they offer affogatos there, which is
those are
espresso
good.
with ice cream. And I keep getting those. They're so good. So that's
So
been my treat lately.
my husband is also obsessed with those.
So good.
Okay, so that's funny because my treat is also ice cream related.
Yay!
So I have a bit of a lactose issue, and ice
Okay.
cream doesn't always love me back. The local ice cream shop to us that we can ride our bikes to if we want, they started putting out some of their flavors are marked as like soy or oat, and I was like,
Amazing.
oh, I can have this ice cream.
Yeah, indulge. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
so that's what I've been doing is indulging.
What's been your favorite flavor lately?
So it's very limited. But lately I've been getting espresso chip.
Oh, see, I love coffee ice cream. You're the same as
Yeah,
me.
I also love cookie dough.
Yep. Okay, so the first time I got the affogato, it just came espresso and vanilla ice cream. Last
Yeah.
time I was there, I was like, "Do I have to do vanilla ice cream?" She's like, "No, you can do whatever you want." I was like, "I'll do
Ooh,
espresso with cookie dough ice cream." And at the moment I
yes.
said, she was like, "Oh, I need to try that," and it was phenomenal. It was so
So
good.
shit. Okay, so the cookie dough ice cream there, it says almond, and I don't know if it's made with almond milk or if it has chunks of almond
Mm,
in it.
you should
That's
ask.
and the kid didn't know, so I need to
Yeah,
ask her.
I wouldn't trust the teenager at the ice cream shop for allergy or nutrition information. That's fair. The teenager, when I was ordering that cookie dough ice cream, the phone's ringing. The lady's like, the
Yep.
teenage boy does not know what he's talking about and won't answer the phone.
But it's fine because like when I was 16, I was like, I don't really
Same.
give a shit about.
I love it. Okay, we will go ahead and wrap up. This was so much fun. Thank you, Anna, for proposing this idea. I am glad that I got the opportunity here on the podcast to deep dive on some things that, again, I feel like I've been having conversations with a lot of people personally on. I've been doing a lot of thinking and scheming and all the things behind the scenes in my mind. So it is nice to just talk about it here. It was a lot of fun. So, any
Hey,
final thoughts before we wrap up?
no, actually, I think I am good. Just
Okay, me too. Thank you, everybody, so much for listening. I will talk to you all next week. And thank you again, Anna, for coming on with me.
of course, anytime.
Bye, guys.